We have the following objectives for today's lesson. Illustrates mutually exclusive events. Find the probability of mutually exclusive events. Now, let's start. Let us start with the definition of mutually exclusive events. Two events are mutually exclusive if both events cannot happen at the same time. These events have no common elements. Let us illustrate and identify if the following events are mutually exclusive or not. A card is drawn from a deck of standard playing cards. Event A, an ace is drawn. Event B, a king is drawn. If you're going to illustrate that using a Venn diagram, there we have the following as illustration. So events A and B are mutually exclusive since you cannot get an ace or a king, but not both, and there is no common element in common. What about the next problem? A card is drawn from a deck of standard playing cards. Event A, a heart is drawn. Event B, a king is drawn. Let us illustrate that using a Venn diagram. Notice that events A and B are not mutually exclusive or non-mutually exclusive since the king of hearts is common to both hearts and kings. Let us deal with the next problem. Rolling a fair die and getting an even number or a multiple of 3. Let us illustrate that using a Venn diagram. So, event A here, these are the even numbers, and event B, these are the multiple of 3. So, we say that events A and B are not mutually exclusive or non-mutually exclusive since there is 6 which is common to both events A and B. Let us find the indicated probability. Probability of A is 0.65. Probability of B is 0.30. Probability of A union B is 0.75. And we are asked to solve for the probability of A intersection B. So we will be using the formula probability of A union B equals the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A intersection B. So we just substitute all the values of A union B, which is 0.75. Probability of A is 0.65. Probability of B is 0.30. And the unknown value, which is the probability of A intersection B. Simplifying by adding 0.65 plus 0.30, there we have 0.95. Since we are looking for the probability of A intersection B, so we transfer it to the left side of the equation. There we have probability of A intersection B equals copy 0.95 and we will change the sign of 0.75 into negative 0.75. Simplifying, there we have probability of A intersection B is equal to 0.20 or 20%. Let us try the next example. Probability of A is 0.55. Probability of B is 0.35. Probability of A intersection B is 0.15. And we are asked to find the probability of A union B. So again, we will be using the formula. And then we just substitute the values. Since we are looking for the probability of A union B, that will be unknown, equals probability of A is 0.55. Probability of B is 0.35. And the probability of A intersection B is 0.15. So we just substitute the values. And then we simplify. We add first 0.55 plus 0.35, which is 0.90 minus 0.15. That is why the probability of A union B is equal to 0.75. Let us deal with more examples. In a hospital, there are 9 nurses and 4 physicians. 5 nurses and 1 physician are males. If a person is selected from the staff, what is the probability that the person is a nurse or female? So we will be using here a table of values. So we started here to identify that we have 9 nurses and 4 physicians in total. So we have nurses, which is 9, physicians, which is 4. And since we have 5 nurses and 1 physician are males, so we have 5 male nurses, and 1 male physician here. So it means that females, we have 4 female nurses and 3 female physicians. So for a total of 13 staff. So we will be using the formula, the probability of nurse or female equals the probability of nurse plus the probability of female minus the probability of nurse and female. So since we're looking for the probability of nurse, and that is 9 over 13. The probability of female here, we have 7 female, so it means that the probability of female is 7 over 13. And the probability of nurse and female, which is 4, so we have to subtract 4 over 13. And then we simplify. There we have 9 plus 7 minus 4 is 12. We just copy the common denominator, which is 13. So it means that the probability that the person selected is a nurse or female is 12 over 13. Let us have another example. 16 people study French, 21 study Spanish, and there are 30 altogether. Find the probability of people who study French only. So we will be using here, let X be the number of students who study French and Spanish, and using a Venn diagram. So we are looking for, this is X, which is the number of students who study French and Spanish. It means X is, these are the students who are studying both French and Spanish. So it means that French will be represented by 16 minus X, since 16 people are studying French, and Spanish is 21 minus X, since 21 are studying Spanish. And since there are 30 altogether, it means that we will be using 16 minus X plus 21 minus X equals 30. So solving for the value of X, combining all X, negative X plus X minus X is negative X. 16 plus 21 is 37. We just copy 30. And then since we are solving for the value of X, we transfer 37 to the right side of the equation. There we have negative X equals 30 minus 37. So negative X here is equal to 30 minus 37 is negative 7. That is why the value of X is 7. Now, since we are looking for the people who study French only, it means that we will be using 16 minus X. And since the value of X is 7, we just substitute the value of X into 7. Then we have 16 minus 7, and that is 9. So we have 9 students who study French only. That is why the probability of people who study French only is 9 over 30, or simply 3 over 10. We must keep in mind that two events are mutually exclusive if both events cannot happen at the same time. These events have no common elements. That is why the probability of A intersection B is always equal to 0. So for us to be able to find mutually exclusive events, we will be using the formula probability of A union with B equals probability of A plus the probability of B. For not mutually exclusive or non-mutually exclusive or overlapping or inclusive events, we will be using the probability of A union B equals the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A intersection B. Try doing this on your own. Until our next session, thank you and enjoy learning.